To lose those extra kilos, to be fit forever, to have a healthy relationship with food, and to just feel so confident in our bodies. If you desire any of these, know that you're not alone. So today, let's talk about how to lose weight and be fit in a healthy, sustainable, and doable way. When I was 18, I got very into nutrition and fitness. I started to learn about foods and what they do to my body, and pretty much got obsessed with the concept of health. Being a young, impressionable woman, somewhere along the line, I went a little too far and developed an unhealthy, restrictive relationship with food, which now that I look back at, I'm very grateful for, because that experience taught me how much of the way we look and feel is based on our mental health, habits, and learned behavior. Now, many years and lessons later, I feel like I've gotten to truly know my body. But most importantly, when it comes to food and fitness, I've created a sustainable lifestyle that allows me to honor and cherish my body. Now, before we get into the tips, I just want to add a small disclaimer and say that I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist or a dietitian, and although I'm passionate about this topic, I'm passionate about health, all of these tips are coming from my own personal experience and what I've learned. So always, with any information you receive, take that through your own heart and gut and filter it through your brain and make the necessary conclusions that you need. And as I always recommend, it's useful to consult your actual doctor or your actual dietitian if you have one. But that being said, let's get into the tips. I put this as number one because I truly believe that it's the basis of everything. Learning about nutrition will help you understand how much you need, what you need, and how certain foods work in your body. Now, what do I mean when I say learn about nutrition? Learn about what carbs do, what protein does, what fat does to your body, how it works together, what minerals you need. All of this information will truly help you understand how to maneuver in the kitchen. I would say that before all the other tips, learn about the food in your fridge and understand, is the food in your fridge benefiting you and what your body needs? I know that nowadays this is a very difficult one, and this is why I'm very careful with my language. I rarely use words like never or restrict, but I am saying avoid, just because you're more likely to eat good food when you make it from scratch, when you cut your own vegetables, when you're cooking your own meal and adding spices and ingredients that you know that you love, and it's always just so much better. When I say processed, I think like super packaged, added with like bunch of oils or sugars. The types of foods, also a really good way to look at it, like to kind of measure if the food is healthy or not. Those super processed breads, when you look at the expiration date and it's like 2 or 3 months, that is highly processed. Like fresh bread will go bad in a couple of days, like maybe 4 days. So this is just something to keep in mind. Remember, everything is about balance, and everything is you have to take it through what is good for you. It's much easier to lose weight in general and to be fit if you know the ingredients you're putting in, and the ingredients are fresh and it's actual food. Tip number 3, learn to eat exactly how much you need. Obviously, there will be events and times where you overeat or undereat, but really learning how to eat exactly how much you need is the key to keeping and maintaining your weight. Extra calories that we don't need is the thing that then leads to having that extra weight, having those extra kilos. So learning how to not overeat and eating exactly how much you need is a very useful skill. And it's actually interesting because when I was going through kind of my health journey, I was kind of introduced into this concept of like eating how much you need. And I noticed when I started to kind of, observe people, because I naturally observe people, that some people actually do this very naturally. And this usually comes when they have been raised in a family where everyone eats how much they need. They don't have this kind of mentality of finish your plate, which is something I hate. I think it's the worst thing you can tell to your kid, because that kid will learn to eat according to what is in front of them, not according to what their body says. So just be very, very mindful when you're maybe overeating, or if you feel like you're overeating a lot. Is this coming from something you have learned from your family? Is this coming from a place of comfort because you wanna feel something else? So think about those questions, and actually this point leads me to the next step, which is build a healthy relationship with food. I have a whole video on this topic, which is one of my most popular videos. So apparently a lot of people love that video, and I love that video. So definitely check that out. I go in depth about this topic, and I kind of don't want to repeat myself too much because that video is really packed with information. So definitely check that out. I promise you, literally I can promise you that by learning the things that I say in that video, that will help you so much in your health journey. But in short, if you learn to build a healthy relationship with your food, that will help you not only physically, but mentally. And let's be real, a lot of weight problems come from our mental issues. It is a fact. When we overeat, when we're sad, right? When we binge eat, like that's also a mental disorder. When we see food as kind of this entity, good or bad, all of this is kind of us putting moral value to food, and all of this is coming from that unhealthy pattern, unhealthy relationship with food. So this is such an important point. Again, I will mention that video, go check it out. But first, watch these tips and then check it out, because when you learn how to build that relationship, how to trust your body, how to eat when you're hungry, not when you're sad, because that is something I used to suffer from when I would just eat because I was bored or sad. These are patterns that I learned from my childhood. So go check it out, and let's move to the next tip. At the basis of weight loss, obviously, is calories in versus calories out. That's the basis. That's something that I hope most of us know. But our bodies are complex. If, let's say, you are deficient in something, or if you have some kind of a hormonal problem, that can also create disbalance in your body and create different issues that can lead to weight gain. Test your basic, vitamins and minerals and all of that. Just check if you're not deficient, because when we talk about fitness, and I really want to point this out, we are not just talking about looking good, okay? I know that this is the main reason why a lot of people clicked on this video. I understand we want to lose weight to look good, but at the basis of fitness is how strong is our body inside and out. Now, a next level blood test would be kind of checking your hormonal health, which is, I've been thinking about this a lot, but that's for a different video. And this is, I think, especially important for women. Being in disbalance, like hormonal disbalance, can cause different things, skin issues, gut problems, the list goes on. And remember that for you to be in a healthy, good weight, your gut health is so important, because that will result in how good you absorb vitamins and all of that. And actually, on that note, I read a quote recently that I really, really loved. And it said, "You are not what you eat, you are what you absorb." And I love that, because all of us have heard that, you are what you eat. I heard it all my life, but I love this new twist on it, because it doesn't matter what you eat, it matters what you actually absorb. That's who you are. Do the blood tests, take care of your body, and I promise you that will also give you more clarity on what you need to eat, what vitamins you need to take, and how you can take care of your body. Veggies, veggies, veggies. Most adults don't eat enough vegetables, and it makes so much sense because, again, going back to the previous points I mentioned, so much food is processed and packaged, and most of that food does not contain that much vegetables. It contains a lot of oils and sugars and carbs and bread and all of that. I promise you, you can't overeat on veggies. Like, you would have to be a very special individual to overeat on veggies. I mean, you know, let's not go overboard. But when I say veggies, 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 fill your plate with different colorful vegetables. And instead of seeing vegetables as a side dish, try to sometimes make dishes where veggies are the main dish and then put some, you know, protein or carb on the side, because veggies are just so good. That's how I feel. That's why I made a whole point of it. Veggies are also low calorie, which is really, really helpful when you want to try to lose weight. Always combine it, of course, with some protein, and don't go to kind of the other spectrum and start eating just broccoli all day, okay? Please don't be that person. You obviously need to eat a variety of foods to stay healthy. If all you eat currently are very calorie dense, meaty, cheesy foods, you will be surprised how much you will benefit if you replace one meal a day or one snack a day with, you know, some colorful veggie mix. And also, you can make it so interesting. You can add it in soups, you can make different dips. It's just like, I'm gonna stop here, otherwise this video is gonna turn into like me obsessing over vegetables, but I love them so much, especially in winter time. I load up on veggies. I love veggies. So that's my tip in your weight loss journey. If you replace or even add a lot of veggies to your plate, I promise you, you will see a lot of beautiful differences in the way you feel and in the way you look. Now, the reason why I say whatever way you like is because this whole video, this whole idea of being fit or losing weight is also about sustainability. It does nothing good for you to start running 10 miles or deciding that you will run 10 miles every day, but then completely burning out and getting tired and exhausted and stopping after 4 days, and then having this kind of hateful relationship towards exercise and movement and then not wanting to move at all. It does nothing good. So I always encourage people to find the type of movement that they love. Some like swimming, some like dancing, some like running or walking. I have found in my life personally that what keeps me motivated and wanting to exercise is switching it up. I have had years where I go religiously to gym, then I had a big moment of running. I actually still love running, but it's something I'm not able to do physically right now. Then I now have these walking spurs. I also stretch and do a little bit of yoga. I keep it interesting and I keep it fun. And what motivates me is thinking about when I'm old, and I hope this will motivate you as well. Obviously, we will all age and get old, but you can prolong your kind of youth by moving your body. And it will also help you to be more fit. It will help your gut health and your heart. And at the end of the day, if we're talking about weight loss, that is the thing that will help you burn calories. If you're a person who hates exercising, I would really maybe evaluate what it is that you hate about it and trying to understand, is there anything that you do enjoy? And think about if someone in your life has maybe minimized what you love in movement, because that can sometimes create that feeling of it's not worth it. And I want to go back to walking because walking is such a good example. It's something we've heard a lot, that walking does nothing really. It's not as effective as, I don't know, weightlifting or running. And that's just not true. Walking is a form of exercise and it is low impact. And by low impact, that means that it is just nice and easy for your body, and it's something that everyone can do. And this is why I recommend walking to you in case you still don't know what form of exercise you enjoy. Walking is something that everyone does, and it is so doable, and it's still a form of movement. And then, you know, from there you can explore. Maybe you want to do a little run here and there. Maybe you want to do some, I don't know, dancing. It doesn't matter. Just move your body. It will move everything inside of you, mentally, emotionally, and physically. This is actually something that I started to religiously pay attention to a couple of years ago when I read a book about sleeping and how chronically sleep deprived people are, and this kind of changed a lot in me. We will all have instances where we don't sleep enough. It's life, sadly, but this is something you should be striving for. There are many, many studies. You can look it up, you can Google it or research it, that show that sleep-deprived people are more prone to weight gain. And I think there are different factors for this, but I can actually speak from my own personal experience. When I was working night shifts, when I was still in uni, I was working at a casino. I would sleep a little bit during the morning, and then I would study during the day and work through the nights, and I felt so exhausted, not only in a physical sense, which obviously is the case because I wasn't sleeping, but also emotionally, that sweets and sugar gave me that energy, and I kept eating all of that junk food a lot to kind of keep myself going. So this is just one aspect of sleep deprivation. You will then find sources where you can gain that energy, and in the end your body won't recover properly like it should during sleep, and a lot of shit will go down and disbalances will happen and all of that because you're not giving yourself the basic function of sleep. So pay attention in your life if you're trying to lose weight and to be more fit. Are you sleeping those 7 to 8 hours? And I'm being very generous when I say 7 to 8 because the book actually says minimum 8. And there are so many studies that show the difference even between 6 hours a night and 8 hours a night. How much clearer your head is, how more like your energy levels are sufficient. So there are many, many, many benefits. So remember, sleep, sleep, sleep. As a fellow stress addict, I understand how difficult it might be to hear those words, but sadly, it is true. You're more prone to weight gain and all sort of health problems if you stress. To be honest, stress is kind of a human killer for everything, really. It brings all sorts of diseases, so why wouldn't it bring also weight gain? It does just horrible stuff. Now, stress is actually good for humans, you know? It was designed for a purpose. It was designed for us to, I don't know, escape a bear if a bear comes our way and to really focus. So stress is needed. But the problem is, nowadays, because we don't have any bears to escape, unless you live in the woods and escape bears every day, that's very stressful. I feel for you. Because we don't have all these problems, we now find stress in absolutely everything. And before we know it, it's kind of become a part of our basic functions. Now, when we stress, our cortisol level spikes. When our cortisol level spikes, there are different functions in our body that kind of slows down. Maybe that's why you've noticed that when you stress, kind of your tummy can hurt or you can feel a little bit, especially women, if you go through stress a lot, your reproductive system gets affected, you lose a period or your period is now late. All of this can come from that stress. So obviously the way you eat, the way you process food, the way your hormones work, all of that can be affected, which can then lead to weight gain. Some of the things that have helped me a lot is going on walks, very, very good for your mental health. Meditation, gratefulness, like writing in a gratitude journal or just being grateful. And then also an approach that is very random but has helped me a lot is saying fuck it. There are some things where if you learn how to say just fuck it, you really learn to believe it and you understand how many insignificant things there are in your life that you stress about. And it's hard at first, but once you learn these, I promise you that it becomes easier and easier, and your body will only thank you if you learn how to be at peace. This is the most important tip of all. I know I say that about all of the tips, but I feel like this is a good way to end these. There is no point in doing anything, dieting or eating a certain food or exercising, if it doesn't lead to sustainable lifestyle or results. This is why this video is called How to Lose Weight and Be Fit Forever. You can only be fit forever if you find a lifestyle that for you is doable forever. Let's say you hate a certain vegetable. If you hate that vegetable, but you keep eating it because you read that somewhere it's a good vegetable, I promise you, you will either live a very miserable life because you're eating something that you hate, or two, you will quit very fast. It's the same with quick fix diets. This is why I don't believe in them. That's why I don't stand behind them even a little bit. They do not work. You have to ask yourself, do I just want to lose weight in, I don't know, a week? Or do I want to look in this weight, like in my ideal weight, and be in my ideal weight and look the way I want to and love forever? And I think most of us will answer forever. So you have to understand and kind of look through what are the little habits and things you can do that for you is sustainable and forever. This is what is sustainable for me currently in my life. I eat primarily what I would say are healthy whole foods. I love, and I have learned actually to love them. So also remember that a lot of things you can learn to love. I have found the spices that I love. I eat good food. I cook a lot because I love to cook. I drink a lot of water. I think that's kind of, we all know that you need to drink water. And I move my body every single day. I stay away from sugar and sugary drinks because I just know that they are bad for me. But that being said, when I go out or if I'm in a party, I will have a drink. I will eat ice cream and crisps and chocolates when there's an event. I don't restrict anything to myself because I have found that that wouldn't be sustainable. When I restrict, I immediately want that food. So I don't restrict, I just prioritize health in my life. I have formed a lifestyle that for me is sustainable, a lifestyle that I know that I will be able to do for the rest of my life. I want to quickly tell you a little story. I actually thought for the most of my life that I am naturally very skinny, and there's definitely genetics, but I think about 8-9 months, I accidentally noticed that I gained about 2 kilograms, which is 4 pounds. And again, it might seem like it's not a lot, but for a slim person, for a skinny person, that's actually, you know, it's like unexpected, or it seems like a lot. When I analyzed it, I immediately knew that it wasn't a random thing. I never think that these things are random. It was because my lifestyle changed. I don't want to go into it way too much. Like, there are different videos where I talk about this, where I was just tired. I was tired and overworked, and I ate a lot of junk, and so I gained a little bit of weight. But the minute I went back to my lifestyle, the weight just kind of went off. And that's because I have found things that work for me. Now, we can always be healthier and we can always be less healthy. So this is not about comparison. This is all about finding and understanding what little things you can do in your life. And just a final tip, I feel like I keep saying, and another tip, don't try to do everything at once. If you're like me, this will overwhelm you and you will quit everything. I got here today with the healthy habits I have, not in one day, okay? This is years. I formed a relationship with all of this. So try to implement tiny things that seem to you sustainable. Maybe everything that I mentioned to you does not sound sustainable. That is fine. Find something that is sustainable and doable to you. And a bonus tip, number 11, I bet you didn't expect that, is stay away from sugary drinks and drink water instead. I always think that sugary drinks are a waste of calories. Like, I would rather eat my calories because they don't really give you satiety, but you still consume calories. So it's just a waste of calories. Gus loves sugary drinks, and I always try to like say to him, like, maybe limit a little bit. And he's like, nah, I don't care. I love my sugar drinks. But that's just a bonus tip if you want to try to lose weight. I think that's probably one of the best and easy tips to kind of include, because that doesn't take away like that love you have maybe for unhealthy foods. But if you just take out the drink, that's already like, you know, you're taking out a lot of calories from that. So if you can learn to love water, I love water with lemon. It's perfect. I'm wishing you all the luck in your weight loss, fitness, and health journey. I know how personal it is to each and every one of us. And remember that no one else will understand what exactly you're going through except you. So trust yourself and love yourself. I know it's so cheesy. I used to think it's so cheesy to say that, but it's so important, because you will make much better decisions about health and food when it's coming from a place. I ruined it. I ruined such a beautiful sentence. From a place of love. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you